Hey there, I'm Andrea from Santa Fe Painting Workshops, and today I'm going to show you how to mix the color Transparent Yellow Oxide. So I'm going to show you today how we mix this color and how to even make it more transparent. The beauty of this color is that it is actually a bit transparent. So here's the deal. This is a gorgeous color, right? And the thing is, golden is just about the best acrylic paint you can buy, and it's quite expensive. Not everyone is able to afford golden. Not everyone is in a place in their painting journey that they would even want to spend that much money on paint. Golden makes some gorgeous colors, but how can we hack these paint colors? How can we figure out how to make them without spending an arm and a leg? Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with any brand of paint that you have. The only other thing you're going to need is acrylic glazing medium. I use golden, but I've used Liquitex. There's no difference in the quality. I've also used Nova Color. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so let's get painting. So here is the Transparent Yellow Oxide. I'm going to give it a good shake. And we'll go ahead and paint that first, so we know exactly what we're going for. Got a little bit of a chunk in there. Okay, so that's our color, nice and translucent, has a gorgeous golden sort of tone to it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make it. So to make Transparent Yellow Oxide, iron oxide, you're going to want just a primary yellow. It can be cadmium yellow light, cadmium yellow medium. You can use Hansa yellow, lemon yellow. All of those are pretty decent primary-ish yellow, okay? So you need that, and you want dioxazine purple. Okay, so you want your secondary purple or violet, whatever you call it. And then you're gonna need a little bit of white and of course the satin glazing liquid, and for that it's going to make it more translucent. So we'll start with yellow. So mostly we want this color to be yellow. It's probably more than we need. And then we want the smallest bit of purple. So just put some there. It's probably too much. And we will want some white as well. I'm keeping that there because this is where I'm going to mix the color, but usually I line up my colors at the top. Okay, so very small amount of purple. Look at that. I have very little there, right? Might need more, but let's just try it. Okay, and then let's put some white in. So do you see how that purple neutralized that color? And it's got a slight green tinge to it, right? And that color is warmer. So actually, we're going to need something else here. So here's the question for you. If you know your color theory well, if we want it to, this is kind of too green. So what's the opposite of green? Red. Good job. We need more red or orange to warm this up, right? And to get it more towards that. So let's try cadmium red medium. And let's see what we get. Just adding a little bit there. And it's very dry and hot in Santa Fe today. So we're going to spritz that a little bit. That might even be too much red, actually. So let's just take a little bit of that and come over here. And this is the process that you're going to go through. So that was too much red, right? Here, let's hold it against the color. Too red, right? We need more yellow. So now we go back to the yellow. This is sort of the back and forth that you're going to do when you're color mixing. Because sometimes you have like a color in your mind that you want, right? And it takes some time to get there. This. Okay. So you can see we're very close now, but I know this is going to dry darker. So let's just scratch up the rest of the white here. And in fact, I'll just put a little bit more white down. Again, so acrylic dries darker. So I need to go almost a little bit lighter than that. Okay, there's maybe a little bit of more white in here. But now, if I paint this here, it's going to be pretty solid. It's not going to have that beautiful translucency. So what we need now is we need the glazing liquid. So I'm going to use satin. I don't know about you guys. Do your tops always get stuck? Mine always get stuck. So I just end up taking the lid off. And let's go with a lot of medium here. So let's do about that much medium. Now it looks white, but it's going to dry clear. And let's just have a little bit. Look how little pigment I have. It's probably not enough, but let's go a little bit more. because that's a pretty see-through color, I want to start, let's start a little bit too much medium, then maybe not enough. Okay, let's just see what we have here, okay? It's unlikely that I'm going to nail it right from my first try, but hey, let's see. Okay, so what do you think I need more of? What do I have too much of? If you said yellow, if you said white, you're correct. I put a little bit too much white into that. So here's how we fix it. We're going to add just the smallest tinge of yellow right to that. It might need a little bit more red too, just a small amount. So let's do that, just a teeny amount. And let's get back, and we're going to mix the base color here. Okay, and then I'll just mix it right into that because there's not a whole lot there. Okay, so look how much redder that made it, and dark. But let's just go with it, because also what's happening here is as you make your color more translucent, if you're putting it onto white paper, that white paper is allowing it to kind of glow, right? And it's changing the color. And so it's almost like we're adding white with the paper or with the canvas. So let's just go like maybe the other end now, where maybe I have too much yellow orange and we need more medium here. I think that consistency, like that was a good amount of medium. So not a lot of pigment, okay? I'm barely using, I just used what was on my palette knife there and then a lot of medium. Okay, let's see what we get here. I'm gonna clean my brush just so that doesn't, you know, just so we can really see it. See my new mix. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's actually quite similar. Make sure to like this video if you find the content useful. YouTube sends out the video more when I get more likes and when I get comments. When it dries is when you start to really see the difference, but how funny. It didn't make a huge difference, did it? So we need to either add more yellow and more, maybe, I think more yellow. Let's start with that, okay? And what I'll do, let's add it right into this. Now that's going to make it really intense probably. So we'll just do this, mix it into the whole thing. Now I have a lot more pigment than I had this time around, but let's just try that out, okay? So I can see that that needs the smallest touch more of red, okay? I can see that. So let's go into it. I've got a little bit of red there. Better. Might even need a little bit more purple, just a little bit more neutral, like smallest amount. It's amazing. Did you see how little purple I put in there and how much that changed that? So that neutralized that a little too much. Let's just scrape all this in. Now we're going to probably need to add, we might need to add a bit more of the yellow to that. Might have been too much purple, but let's do this first. So you see it's a little bit too neutral, right? So a little bit more yellow. It's also perhaps a little bit too red as well. Now, here's the deal. If you're mixing transparent yellow oxide, like this color's gorgeous, that color's gorgeous. Like, you don't need to get it exact, right? I think the idea here is this beautiful golden, you know, warm yellow that's translucent. But these are gorgeous colors too, right? So, but also, you know, color theory takes time. Okay, now I didn't do as much medium in that, so here's a little trick. It's because I'm talking and teaching at the same time. Color theory takes time, right? It does. It's part of the whole deal. And color is the most important thing, if you ask me. Now that's a lot closer. Do you see that? Now, and also let's keep in mind, this has already dried. This is not dried yet. But yeah, so we're getting so close to it. But we could almost add a little bit more orange, which means add a bit more yellow and red. So we'll just try that. Well, while these are all drying, let's just try that, okay? Because this is an experiment. So a little bit more red and a little bit more yellow, okay? feel like it's a little too similar still. So let's do a little bit more red. Let's push the red just a wee bit more. That feels like that got a bit closer there. Okay. We'll do a second row right here, but that might have been too much red. But when you look at this wet and that dry, it looks pretty darn close. Okay. Now, by the way, I didn't put a whole lot of medium into that. So let's just do that again now, and let's use some medium. So my little trick here, just put some clean, fresh medium here. And I already had paint left on my brush. We're going right into it, back and forth. It's not ideal to use your brush to mix acrylics. It really gunks your brush up, but on a quick little mix, it's not a big deal. Okay, so we're getting more of that translucency here. Okay, this will be a bit more opaque. Okay, so I think we are pretty darn close. Now, as this gets to more drying, this color is like a little bit more, it's just richer, right? The dark is a little bit richer. So we can kind of see that. So let's let this dry and let's look at our results. Hey, so if you're enjoying these tips on color theory, I have a really great guide for you. It's the 8 colors that every artist should have. And so I go through each of the colors that you need to have for color mixing, for how to mix your secondary and tertiary colors, and also some other really strong color mixing tips. It's totally free. It's a PDF, and you'll get it if you just sign up. The link is right below, so check it out. Okay, so now that I've finished the color, so remember this here was the original. And then this one had yellow. Actually, all these have. Plus purple. Plus white. Plus red. All of these have that, right? But then when I got down here, I added too much white, right? And here I added more red. So I'll just put more red, right? In these guys. So you can see that the closest to that color there is going to be this here. In terms of how see-through, how translucent it is, and also the richness, the tone. This one is also very, very close. But it's almost a little bit more brown. This one's a little bit warmer. You can see it's a little bit more orange. You can see that on the edge there, right? Now the edge here is actually kind of brownish too. So we are cutting hairs. This is even a gorgeous color. These are all gorgeous colors, and all of these still give us that feeling of transparent yellow oxide. So again, the beautiful color that golden makes, I'll put a link in the description box below. You can get this color at your art store, or you can get it at Blick. I can put a link down there, and it will be an affiliate link. But let's also look at yellow oxide and how it's different. So yellow oxide is a totally different color. First of all, this is transparent, right? And this would be a little bit more translucent, a little bit more opaque than this. It's also like more of a mustard yellow. Let's go and mix this one as well. This one should be a little bit more yellow, purple, and white. And it's possible we're going to need to add a little bit of red to this, but let's go ahead and check it out. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and first start with the original color. Give it a good shake. Okay, so there's our original color. And now we're going to add a very small touch of purple. Look how little that is. Into the color just to start off with. That's our first move, because the first thing I know is that this is yellow and it's a semi-neutral. It's neutralized. It is not a bright yellow, and it clearly has orange in it. Now we could use orange or we could use red, because what is orange? Red and yellow. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of red to this and see what we get. Getting close. A little bit more red. This maybe too much. Way too much, right? So that's okay. Now we'll add more yellow. Put it in the comment box if you get kind of nerdy about color too. I love doing this. I think this is so satisfying and so fun to do, and just fun to figure out how to get to that. So you see how we're just a wee bit too dark, but I don't want to put too much white in. So I'm just going to do that very small amount because, you know, white makes it kind of pasty, right? Okay, so it's like, is it too red? It might be too red still, but it's also definitely a little bit too dark. So let's do a little bit more of the white. Okay, we're getting, wow, we're very, very close. Touch more white. Very, very close there. Let's put that on, okay? So, put that here. A little bit dry. Okay, so you can see that it's close, but that's a wee bit darker, right? But that is really close, right? So it's the same formula, right? The formula being yellow. We have to neutralize our yellow with purple, which is the opposite in the color wheel. And we have to warm it up a little bit and push it more towards orange with either orange, if that's all you have, or a small touch of red. So in this scenario here, we are so very close. But I'm thinking maybe the smallest touch of red still needs to happen here. Now, we don't have a whole lot of paint. So it could be where I would dab this into red and mix it around, but I don't really like doing that. So we're going to just do smallest touch of red. See what we can get. See if just a little bit more red gets us closer. I have a feeling we'd also maybe need just the smallest touch of purple, because I can see as it's drying, there's a little too much white in there. Okay, so I just did a little bit more purple to make it more neutral. Push it more towards a semi-neutral. Okay, and that looks pretty different and close to that. So I'll just wet my brush here since we don't have a whole lot of paint. And let's try this now. That is very, very close, okay? So you see already this is a bit darker than this, right? This one had a bit more white. These two, they are almost identical. This one's not dry yet. So, and this one, it's only actually it's a bit dry there, not dry there. So I'm going to put this out in the sun and dry it faster, and then we're going to just take a look. Now I wish I would have done one more version with a little bit more purple. Can you see that I need a browner version here? So I think my lighting in the studio was not very good, because it's clear to me when I see this that the colors I made are too orange. Both of them are. And if you look at the original color, there's more of a brownish to it. So I just needed to add a bit more purple, probably just to that second one. I probably didn't even need to add more red, just a bit more purple. And I would have probably gotten almost exactly. So just so you know, I do see that now that I'm editing the video. With that said, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, if you haven't noticed. And the reality is the other two colors I made are very beautiful. But if you're really going for an exact yellow iron oxide, you would need some more purple to make that happen. So you can see, yes, there's a difference because this one is more transparent, right? And this is more translucent, so less see-through. But it also, this color is a little bit warmer. You see, there's a little bit more of an orange. This is more on the yellow side. So that's also a difference with these two colors, but they're both really beautiful, and that is how you make them. Now, once again, if you enjoyed learning how to mix your own yellow oxide and you like the nerdiness of color theory, be sure to check out my free class. It's linked right below. It's the first thing in the description box below. And in this class, I don't only talk about color theory and some really key pro tips, but also composition, how to use unique tools, mindset, and a lot of different things when it comes to painting, specifically abstract painting. But even if you're a representational painter, you'll benefit from this class. So you can sign up for free right below. It's just a 60-minute class. Now, if you enjoyed learning how to mix transparent yellow oxide and yellow oxide, you might want to check out my tutorial on how to mix sage green. That's right up here, and it's an easy color to make, and it's a beautiful color. And if you already know how to make it and you want to go to another video where I show you how to limit your palette with those two colors, transparent yellow oxide and sage green, and of course white and black, then check out this video. I will show you how I got a lot of different colors and how I harmonize colors in an abstract painting. And so that one's really useful if you want to put these colors to use. Once again, go ahead and like this video now you got this far, and thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.